Good evening. I am dressed as a baddie because today we're talking about my first solo trip. A strong, independent woman. She went to Ireland all by herself. She went from panic attacks to fucking sneak attack into the cute little. I saw there was a really cute guy at the bookstore, and I sneak attacked him, and we went on a date. I just want to talk about that. Like, can we talk about that? I told my friend this, and he was like, "Okay, personality change. What did you take? Is it the ADHD medication?" What is in that shit? What is in that shit? Because what is this personality switch? And honestly, I don't really know. It's interesting. I mean, I guess I do know. It's just when you get put into a different environment, um, especially if you live at home and you've always been surrounded by, people from the past, childhood friends, or just, people that you've known for a very, very long time. Your identity doesn't really get to shift all that much because we are just, we are souls. We are not one thing. There is no I am this or this and that. Like, you're an energetic being that constantly changes and ebbs and flows. So, but if you get, environment, like, your environment definitely influences the way you act, your behavior, and the way you think about yourself. And then when you're suddenly put in a different situation, especially when you've never like been alone on a trip before, or you're just never alone all that much, you get to have a chance to really get to know yourself, or get to know yourself in like a different manner. I mean, I feel like we are different people in different situations, right? Just as how you're different with one group of friends as with the other group of friends. It's still you, but it's just like a different part of you, right? So it's just really crazy to think that I went from having panic attacks to like going on a solo trip in like a few years. And I wanted to make this video to kind of inspire others and to kind of show like this is possible. Like, this identity shift, this change in personality, this change in like fear, it is possible for you. I used to go like I wouldn't be able to go outside at some point, you know? I would leave my home and start getting like my heart would start pounding really like heavily. I would start getting like dizzy. I would cry on the train. I would be so scared that I would like throw up, or that I would suddenly, I don't know, I would want to like jump out of the plane. Girl, jump out of the train because I was just getting so anxious, right? That used to be me just a few years ago. And then it slowly subsided because I did like exposure therapy, kind of like I would slowly expose myself to like going outside, and I would have some safety measures, and every time I would take off a few of those safety measures, but I still have those. I still have the safety measures. I always take, I mean, I took a plastic bag with me just to be sure. And like, oh, you never know if I need to like throw up. I've never thrown up in public before, but there's just this fear that I have, so I just take this plastic bag with me just to be sure. But I still did it, and like there were still times when I stepped into a bus that would, I would have to stay in the bus for like 1.5 hours, which meant that I couldn't leave the bus, which is something that would like trigger me because if I can't leave, then I can't, you know, I can't, So I don't. I feel like people with agoraphobia I kind of understand, and also people that don't feel like. I feel like it's also from a fear of not being in control. If you have those kinds of fears and like anxieties, you can get like panic attacks or whatever. So, at least in my experience. So I would still get like a knot in my stomach, but I've learned to, through those little steps of like, okay, every time I go a little bit further away from home, and every time I check in with my body and see like, oh, see, I'm safe, I'm safe. And then I breathe. And then like, okay, like I feel my stomach. I feel like I'm getting anxious, or oh, I'm getting sick. No, it's just anxiety. And then I breathe. I'm safe. I'm okay. And at some point, every tiny little step will take you so much further than you can imagine in the moment. Because when you're in that moment of feeling anxiety, getting the panic attacks, you feel like it will never end. You feel like you'll die in that moment. You feel like you never get to experience anything beautiful ever again. Like, you'll never get to go out of the house like independently. But that's not true, and you can get through it. And I am a living example of it. And I feel I feel very, very, very blessed and lucky that I had this chance to solo travel, but also that I'm here. You know, things really do get better. And I went through such a tough few years, and I really lost myself over, I mean, the course of like 10 years. But like being in Ireland and feeling like the power that I have in myself, like being able to buy the plane tickets, to figure out hostels, to have like even the courage to go. Like suddenly I had this courage. I was like, no, this is not suddenly. This is years and years and years of just constant work. Constant inner work, constantly trying to push myself, even if it's like the tiniest little step, even if it's just like walking like a kilometer like further than than I normally go, you know? Even if it's just reading one page extra a day, even if it's just writing and journaling every once in a week, like I don't know, like sporadically. This has been years in the making. And then suddenly I had like the courage to go on a trip that I felt called to. Suddenly I was on a plane to Ireland. Suddenly I felt comfortable enough to go into hostel. Suddenly my social anxiety didn't bother me enough to stop me from going to a hostel, to stop me from talking to people, to stop me from asking this cute guy out. As long as you keep putting in the work, you will get there. You will get there, and you'll have no idea what it looks like. You'll have absolutely no fucking clue. I didn't want to swear, but I did. What it's gonna look like, and it's gonna be beautiful. I mean, just sitting in that unknowingness is so exciting. You have no idea what's coming, and it's going to be great. And you can just like sit in that feeling and really trust it'll be grand. It will be amazing. And I won't be able to even imagine what it's gonna look like, but it's gonna be great. I mean, I don't know how old everyone is watching, but I am sure like if you just look back like a year or maybe 5 years or maybe 10 years, like you can see the growth, right? And even if you are at rock bottom at this exact moment, this is the worst you've ever felt in your entire life. Perfect. Perfect. Because it can only go up. Because if you go, rock bottom, every tiny little step forward is a giant, like, you can really celebrate that, you know? And I'm so proud of you. And you are getting there, and it's only going to get even better, and it's going to be great. And it's going to be great for you. It's not going to be, like, oh, and then I have all this money, and then I have a girlfriend or a boyfriend, and then I'm going to look so hot and cute, and I'm going to have a glow up. No, you're going to be proud of yourself for your personal reasons. And that is so much more valuable than all that bullshit. Okay? Because, bitch, everyone was like, why are you going to Ireland? What is Ireland? I'm just like, girl, this is important to me. This is important to me, okay? You know? I don't know if that makes sense, but it's just, shouldn't you be doing this? Shouldn't you be doing that? No, I need to go to this trip because this is for me. This is for me. Oh, why a hostel? Why not just like, because I want to do this because this is for me. Because I'm celebrating me this week. And bitch, I did. I had so much fun. It was so fun. But I will not lie. There were a lot of triggers, a lot of things that came up. And that's so beautiful because every time something comes up, you get triggered or you have like this really weird feeling, you get an opportunity to really look at it and be like, what's going on here? What is something that I've missed? What is something that I haven't integrated yet? And for me, there were a few things, but one of those things was, oh, I have to be someone else if I want to be loved, if I want to feel like I belong. Because yes, it was great, like having roommates and talking to them. It was really, really fun. And I did really make friends, but there are also a lot of people that I don't match with. And these were like, people that I really like talking to them, but, they had like a normal life or they live like in the more kind of like status quo kind of way, which is beautiful, but it's just something that I don't want. But every time I meet someone like that, I have this urge or I have this feeling of like, I need to be like them. I need to be like them. And only if I'm like them, I get to belong in this society. you know? And then only then I can get love, and only then will I be accepted. And that really, really hurt me, honestly. That was a really deep rooted belief, like, oh, I'm not safe to be who I am, or being who I am is wrong. And that's what I learned during this trip, when I let that go, when I kind of recognized that trigger, recognized that wound, that belief, I got to let it go, and I got to take actions towards like the opposite of that negative belief. Kind of like, what I want is also great, and I'm gonna do what I want. And then I did what I wanted, and I ended up in the most beautiful places. I met this amazing guy. It was really, really fun. Had such a good time. I saw, I don't know, I just saw the life and the excitement and the experiences that I could bring into this world, because I brought myself to those places. I chose to do what I wanted to do, and then I ended up in such a amazing place, or I ended up having an amazing experience, or I ended up having an amazing date, and that was all because I did what I wanted to do. And seeing that being me brings a lot of beautiful things into my life, and being me actually attracts what I like and what I want, and that it is good to be me, and that it is like a positive thing that I am like free to be myself and to express myself. That really, really, really hit me the most. That was the biggest lesson I learned. This was the most valuable lesson I learned going on a solo trip. This is also something I want to like bring as well. Like I wanted to inspire like people who are going through a tough time, like not being able to get out of the house, not being able to get out of bed. Every single little tiny step will bring you to wherever you want to be, and you don't even know where you want to be, right? But you can just, the feeling is sometimes more important. You know how you want to feel instead, right? I feel like that's much easier to think of, because I have trouble thinking about what I want, like physical things, or I mean, some experiences as well. Like, I don't know what I want, but I do know what I want to feel like. And I want to feel free, and I want to feel like me, and I want to feel like being me is enough. And I can already practice that feeling right now in like little tiny ways by, when I go on a walk, I get to choose wherever I want to go. When I go into a store and I buy food, I get to choose whatever I want to eat. And that might sound a little bit insane for people that don't have this problem, but as a people pleaser, as someone who has completely lost their identity to taking care of the people around them, taking care of their family, or just constantly being like aware of what everybody else is feeling, but never aware of what you are feeling, that is invaluable. Just being able to listen to yourself and do whatever the fuck you want, priceless, and it will bring you so much happiness, and you wouldn't even know that. So I feel like I'm talking in circles, so I'm just gonna stop. But thank you so much for listening, and I love you very much. You are perfect the way you are, and you're free to be yourself, and being you is exactly what you need to do in this life. So, you're doing great.